Hi, I'm Gemma, and this is a chat with Gemma. So, are you old? I'm old. I'm 70. Maybe you're 85 or 95, or maybe you're over 100. And isn't it strange how, when you're old, there's like this implication that you should kind of apologise wherever you go for being old. I'm so sorry, old, and sorry for breathing in and out. Hope it doesn't bother you too much, and looking like this and saggy bits. And I'm so sorry. I just didn't die. Why do we do that? Why do people do that? And I've talked before about like the shows like the Jimmy Fallon show, and how we don't get other where I am. There's probably other shows, because I know there are other shows in America, late night talk shows, but that's the only one that I see, and I don't pay for TV. But maybe there are others to blame on this as well. But certainly with the Jimmy Fallon show, it's just, I would say on a nightly basis, there's some joke made about the oldness of some person or other. And there's this implication they need because they're 82, they need, for some reason, a wheelchair, or because they're 89, for some reason they need their food cut up. Can't imagine why. I mean, there are a myriad of old people throughout history who have gotten to the end of their lives, lived to a ripe old age, and never needed a wheelchair and never needed their food cut up for them. So it shows sort of a strange idea of what old age actually, in reality, is. And I'm sure, we've all talked to young people, children I'm talking about, who, demonstrate that they have a very strange idea of what age is old. For a child, 50 is an old person, which I believe Jimmy Fallon is actually over 50. So why do we have this sort of implication in the way that people talk about old people? And I'm pretty sure, but I wasn't there, so I don't know, that throughout history there have been different attitudes to old people. And I imagine that there were times when to have an old person in your village must have been quite wonderful, because everybody else, died by around the age of 35. So to have somebody old would have been, what did he or she do to get that far? Would have been quite exciting, I imagine. And I've got a feeling that in certain parts of the world there are different attitudes to somebody being old, that they're respected because they're old. But I haven't done a thesis on it, so I'm not absolutely sure. But I think it's got to stop, this attitude that we've literally got to apologise wherever we go for our oldness. And yes, there's an attitude of some young people towards old people. There's a real attitude there that, oh, you're just in my way. Or I don't like the look of you, so shoot, just get out of my sight. I don't want to have to look at you or think about you. But not everybody is a ghastly person. There are lots of people in the world that aren't like those people. And I think there's a big difference on television between old men and old women. I think the attitude that if you're an old lady, then, oh dear, there's a little bit of a wrinkle in there on your skin. Well, shoot, time to go, off you go, bye. don't stop, please, please, quickly. Whereas the men, I think they can have a job in television quite a bit longer. I don't know why that is. I mean, there are more men on television and on the radio, of course, anyway, and it's much harder for a woman to get a job in those areas than it is for a man. You know, you see a lot more men's faces and hear a lot more men's voices on TV and the radio than you do females. Maybe the attitudes that, oh, well, he was never good to look at anyway, so we never had him there because of his looks. So now that he's getting older and got the jiggly bits and wrinkles and whatever else, what's the difference really? I don't know, but there is just a big difference. I think I don't think you see as many old women on TV, but I think that the thing that we can do, us old people, is start a new fashion. And first of all, stop doing that. Stop apologising because you didn't die. Have you done something wrong in that? Do we get to a certain age we should really by now have committed suicide? No, that's ridiculous. I think we really do have to, first of all, just put a stop to it ourselves, because remember too that we're giving an example always. There's always a young ear or some young eyes watching us and listening to us, even though we don't realise it. So we're teaching by the way we live our lives. So I think us old people have to stop doing that. And I don't know, I'm not in charge of the world, but start thinking up new ways of being old, new attitudes to being old. Maybe we can think about it as, wow, you know, I got through all those years, pat myself on the back. That was an accomplishment. Wasn't easy, because life isn't easy. So getting to old age, you had to have suffered somewhere. So good on you. And teach young people too, because they're going to get old one day, most of them. And it might be nice for them to have something to look forward to, something to be proud of, something to think, wow, you know, it's not so bad getting old. Yes, there's a lot negative about it, no doubt at all, but I'm going to try to make it as positive a thing as I can anyway. And yeah, just talk about it. I don't know, I'll leave it up to you in some new and original way. All right, so I hope that you are, well, you're not lonely. And if you are lonely, may God bring somebody your way to be a bit of a companion for a while. God bless you, and bye for now.